That face you make when you hear that Macbeth can't be killed by any man of woman born, but you were untimely ripped from your mother's womb. Guys, welcome back to the channel. We're revisiting the Beretta 1301 Tactical today. We're also revisiting drink carriers as clay pigeons. It's a twofer. You may remember from last time we had a lot of trouble with the shotgun. We had a lot of misfires, light strikes, and this fore-end kept popping loose. I let Josh know what was going on. He returned this to Beretta, and that was an adventure in itself. And I'll have to clue you in on some of the difficulty he had getting the shotgun returned and so on. But they did repair it, or at least they claim they did, and I'll show you the packing slip here in a moment, and you can see what they claim to have done to it. And they claim that it's working, and we're going to find out. We're going to try to shoot some drink carriers, and we'll put some of these light loads through it. Good old low base. This is a bunch of Federal, and I have some other ammo here, but we'll see how it does. I don't know. Okay guys, on this early sleep deprived morning on the range, Boom Guy has not had much sleep. He's out here early in the morning for you. We are going to try the drink carriers again. You may remember from my previous video, I was thinking about using these as targets. They don't fly very well. They're so light that they don't go very far. When you fling them, they twist a few times and then they just sort of flop over and they fall really quickly. And I started to think, if they had more weight to them, we're doing a twofer. We're doing the 1301 and the drink carriers, but I started to think if they had more weight to them, they would fly further. They would, especially weight at the edges. Could I put some modeling clay or something here so that they tend to spin better, and then they don't become unstable and just fall over, and they'll go further. But you know, at some point, the whole point was to use a convenient, low cost or no cost solution for targets. And at some point, if you're having to modify these heavily, you're putting a lot of work into them and or money, and then there's no point in using them anymore. You might as well just go buy clay pigeons. But it occurred to me after I posted that video, I was thinking about it. I thought, well, I often get two of these stuck together. Well, what if I just left them stuck together? They'd be heavier. Do they fly better? And I tried tossing a couple of these like Frisbees. They fly a lot better. So is that the secret? Can we use two of these? Oh, that's sticky. Can we use two of these? And would they make pretty good targets? We're going to find out today. All right, now we are testing simultaneously the 1301 shotgun with this low base ammo. I'm not sure what the shot size is. It's probably 7.5. And we're testing the drink carriers as targets. We're going to revisit both of these. We're going to see what happens.
If this were scientific, you'd only change one variable at a time.
I didn't say it was scientific.
Just let you know.
Boom Guy-rific.
That's true.
Pull. Perfect. Pull. 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 Pull.
I can't.
All right, then I will reload.
Okay.
Pull. Pull.
Oops.
That's twofer. Pull. Pull. There were 4 that weren't hit?
Yeah.
Okay, we threw a total of 9 targets. We have 5 hits. That one was hit on the edge. That one was hit on the edge. This one was hit pretty solidly. That one was hit fairly solidly. That one was hit pretty solidly. Okay, so this works a whole lot better than what we saw before. To some extent, I'm not getting hits because I'm not much of a shotgunner. To some extent, I'm not getting hits because the targets are so close. They don't fly as far as real clay pigeons, although they are bigger, so that does make a difference. But the shot pattern doesn't have a lot of space to open up, unfortunately. Again, with them being bigger, I feel like that's an acceptable trade-off. There were 4 that I didn't hit, although 1 I didn't shoot at. It split into 2, and I guess that's something you want to look out for. If it splits into 2, you want to try to shoot at something that doesn't usually happen with clay pigeons. So we're getting mixed results, but mostly pretty good results. I'm not going to complain about this. Let's try a few more.
Oh. 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 Oh.
I was behind.
Oh. Oh.
Don't remember that happening with clay pigeons. That's an added benefit of shooting paper. You get a celebratory shower of confetti sometimes when you hit one. It's pretty cool.
Oh. 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 That's a light one.
Got it. Okay, the ammo that I've been using thus far for this video has been some Federal red box ammo. Nothing special. Federal Field and Target is how it's labeled, although, yeah, 7.5. I don't even know if the ammo that's in that box is original to the box. The shells are obviously Federal, that's how they're marked, but just a box I found in Robert's shop that it ain't the best ammo. Those are the leftovers, but I mean, it all is going bang. This gun previously had trouble with lots of different ammo, particularly low base, light loads, and particularly Winchester. I've loaded up some Winchester loads, and some of these are exactly the same shells that would not fire before. And that's, gosh, been a month ago, more than a month ago. But you can see they still have these light little primer indentations on them. There's one Remington, that black one, and the rest of them are Winchester. And we're just going to see how they do today. I'm going to literally put the same shells back in the gun and see what it does this time. Winchester. 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 Okay. So I am willing to believe that maybe that Winchester ammo was defective. The one round of Remington did fire. It's one that didn't fire before. My memory is that we had some Federal that didn't fire before. All the Federals fired so far today, so it may be this gun doesn't like that particular Winchester ammo. It may be that that particular Winchester ammo is defective because that was just some leftover ammo that was left laying around Robert's shop. It's possible that stuff wouldn't fire in any gun ever. So I'm not going to sweat the Winchester ammo. Just going to write that off. This gun with all other ammo today so far is doing well. All right, so to continue testing the gun, I've got a box of Winchester. No, this is actually not Winchester. It's a box that somebody has refilled with this Monarch ammo, I think. No, this is Fiocchi. I saw orange and thought Monarch. See, these are Fiocchi number 6s. Do I want to shoot this stuff? Probably. I thought these were low base. Well, I probably won't shoot. Yeah, I may. We'll see. We got some leftover Federal shells, this high brass stuff, and I can't even tell how it's marked, but we're 12 gauge. One of these is a 3-inch load. As near as I can tell, I think they're all lead. There's some Federal, there's some Remington in here. A lot of them are number 6s. They're duck and pheasant loads, but it's all birdshot, and it's most of it is high brass. These are going to be heavier loads. Some are 1 1/4 ounce. Others I can't read the weight on them. That one was Remington.
Ow.
That was the 3-inch. Okay, we no longer have this forearm popping loose under recoil. That's pretty good. We did have that one failure with Remington. That's not great. Okay, we have Remington. I would say the usual suspects, but the usual suspect is Winchester. We have a light primer strike. I do not remember if this is one that we tried through the gun previously. I think we did. So maybe that's just a bad shell, but that's a very light strike. I wouldn't expect this thing to discharge with such a light strike, and that's probably a fault of the gun and not the ammo. So this gun maybe still doesn't like really light loads. It ate up all the Federal, no problem. It does not like the Winchester. Fair enough. It doesn't like this 1 round of Remington. If the gun is a little ammo picky, I guess I can forgive that. As long as it's handling everything else, I guess I'm happy. I'm gonna try some of these orange Fiocchi loads. These are number 6. They're reasonably high brass. I guess they're meant to be like pheasant loads. I don't know. Okay, this one is Federal. Yeah, it's got a very light strike on the primer. Again, this gun seems to prefer heavy loads. This is a heavy load. It doesn't seem to like Winchester. This is not Winchester. It's given us a very light strike. I don't expect shotgun shells to go bang when they get such a light strike, so the only conclusion that I can draw is that while the gun is working maybe better than it was before, it's still not working very well. Okay, so I only ran 5 rounds of the Fiocchi. It seemed to like all of that. It is still giving us some trouble with light loads. It is still giving us some trouble with Winchester, but again, that ammo is so terrible, I'm not going to hold that against the shotgun. But when it continues giving the same kind of failures with Federal and with Remington, I am going to hold that against the shotgun. If it were just the one brand of ammo or that one batch of ammo that I got from, God knows where, dug out of the bottom of a dumpster or something, I'd say it's just junk ammo, and I wouldn't worry about it. But while none of the ammo I'm shooting today is great, we can see that the shotgun goes bang when it wants to, and when it doesn't want to, it's leaving light primer strikes, and it's unreasonable to think that any ammo would go bang with such a light primer strike. So if anything, this is a testament to how good some of the ammo is. It'll even work in a defective shotgun. Beretta sells these for a lot of money. And it's a tactical gun, which means they expect people to bet their lives that this is going to work. That's very irresponsible as far as I'm concerned. There you go. I wish I could give you better news. I really wanted to like this shotgun. And when it's working, it's really great. But it is so often not working. If I owned one of these, and I was stuck with it or issued one by my department or whatever, I would figure out what kind of ammo it likes best and just shoot that stuff. And, if it doesn't like the issue ammo, I wouldn't shoot the issue ammo. I'd find something else. Because it does clearly like some ammo better than it likes other ammo. But I don't consider this a super reliable gun with any ammo. When it's giving light strikes like that, that's not good. All right, in terms of the drink carriers, we saw that under the right conditions, they can make pretty good targets. So if you were really strapped for money, and I mean, obviously you'd prefer just to shoot clay pigeons, but if you were really strapped for money or wanted to find a way to reuse drink carriers instead of throwing them away, why not? They make pretty good targets under the right conditions. They're okay. Okay, so here's some of the paperwork that we got back from Beretta. Okay, I told you I would walk you through the saga of this. I gave Josh the bad news. Hey, your shotgun is not really performing that well. Told him what it was doing, and he got on Beretta's website. I was curious about how this would work because I talked recently about customer service for different companies, so I had never used Beretta's customer service, never had to, and I was curious about how they would handle this. When you get on their website, you enter your serial number of the gun, and then for this particular gun, what they tell you is, oh, that one's not under warranty anymore. It was made in 2021. It's a gun that's only about 3.5 years old when it started having these problems, and they said, oh, the computer says it's no longer under warranty. It's your problem, not our problem. Well, for a $2,000 shotgun, that's not what you want to hear. So Josh gave him a call. When you can call during their business hours and get somebody on the phone. Very nice, very friendly fellow answered the phone. Josh explained the problem to him. The fellow said, hey, we're going to send you a shipping label, get that sent out to us. Very friendly and quick. We packaged this thing up. We slapped a UPS shipping label on it, shipped it back to Beretta. And, I figured when I have to send something to Ruger, I get it back within a week and a half, something like that. And I thought, oh, this will be about the same. We'll have it back in a week or two. And after a week or two, I asked Josh about it, and he said, yeah, they haven't sent me an email. They haven't acknowledged that they've received it. Nothing. No, not a word from them. The tracking number said it was delivered to Tennessee. They wanted it shipped to they've got a bunch of facilities in the U.S., but they wanted this one shipped to their factory in Tennessee. Okay. So we knew it was there. He gave him another call back, and their customer service people said, oh, yeah, we've got it, but we haven't started working on it yet. Okay, not a big deal. They said it'll probably be a couple more weeks. So they were estimating a 1-month turnaround on this, which is, not outrageous. That's fine. It would have been nicer to know up front or earlier, nicer if they communicated. They also did not send him an email when they shipped it back. It just showed up one day. So in terms of communication, Beretta's customer service leaves a lot to be desired. But it did show up, and here's the paperwork. Here's the paperwork they sent him on it. And I can't tell what all of these things mean, but we have the serial number, and we have, these are codes for like their factory, who gets charged what for labor. But anyway, gunsmith inspected the firearm for proper safety and function, noted the customer's concern of having light strikes. Gunsmith replaced the recoil spring with a new one. It also replaced the fore end with a new one from the shop overage, and made an adjustment to the cartridge latch. So I'm assuming, I read online about this after we had so many problems in that last video, and a lot of people were reporting these same problems. And some of them said, yeah, you need to replace the recoil spring when it gets a little worn. I guess on light loads, the gun doesn't open up. The bolt doesn't come back all the way, and a weak recoil spring doesn't let it get a running start and get the gun closed up again, if that makes any sense. You just don't quite have enough oomph there. With heavier loads, it's not a problem because that bolt will come back all the way, and it will slam against the back of the receiver and then bounce, and so it's got a running start to get that next cartridge chambered. But with light loads, it doesn't maybe quite get them seated all the way, and then when you press the trigger, there's just a little bit of a gap, and the bolt has got to try to close. You got the hammer trying to close your bolt and fire the gun simultaneously, and it doesn't have enough energy to do both. Anyway, so replace the recoil spring. Gunsmith test fired 14 rounds of 12 gauge ammo, Winchester 3-inch with a heavy load, 7 rounds of Federal, 2 3/4 inch, number 7, so a fairly light load, 7.5. No issues reported, blah, 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 firearm functions. within factory parameters. Well, I don't know what factory parameters are for this gun, but this gun does not function within my parameters. You make up your own mind what you think, how you think this very expensive, tactical, presumably life-saving shotgun should function. If this shotgun is intended to save your life, how reliable should it be? To me, there's only one answer, and that's extremely. Or maybe the other answer would be perfectly, but nothing is perfectly reliable. I would expect this thing to be extremely reliable under basically all conditions, and we don't see that. It's picky about ammo. To me, this is not what a tactical shotgun should be. This is not what a $2,000 shotgun should be. MSRP on these on their website is $19.99. It's a $2,000 shotgun. It's fun to shoot when it works. It's smooth and it's light in recoil. It's got a lot going for it when it works. And if you're the kind of person who wants to go spend $1,500 or $2,000 on a shotgun and then really fiddle with it and have to find ammo it likes and worry about whether or not it's going to work when you need it to, this is the one for you. But if you don't want to spend that much money, then this is not for you. Or if you want a shotgun that's just very, very reliable, like a Glock pistol, monotonously reliable. Maybe you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but you know your shotgun's going to work every time. This one is not for you. I like monotonous reliability when it comes to life-saving tools. I'll put up with a picky or a finicky gun if it's just fun to shoot, you know, if it's just a silly range toy. Yeah, why not? Life's short, man. Go have some fun. But this, while shooting this can be fun, this was not made for fun. This was made to save people's lives. That's all there is to it. This is marketed as a tactical shotgun. That's how it's going to tend to be bought and used. This has to be reliable. This has to be as reliable as a claw hammer. This has to be incredibly, incredibly reliable, and it isn't. And that makes Boom Guy really sad. So I wish I had better news for you. Good news on the drink carriers. That's pretty cool. On the Beretta shotgun, very mixed results. Again, if we fiddle around with ammo, we could find something that it likes and that it will shoot reliably. And if this were the only shotgun I had, I could make it work. It'd be fine. It'd be okay. But I'm not going to pay $2,000 for fine. I can pay $200 for a Maverick 88 that is quite a bit better than fine. It'd be much more reliable than this gun. If I need a semi-auto on the market right now, I don't know what would beat it. I shot a bunch of I shot some old Remington 1100s. They're usually extremely reliable. Again, sometimes they're a little finicky to get set up. You have to make sure the gas port is clean and they got a fresh O-ring in them and they're lubed and so on. But once you got them set up the way they want to run, they tend to run. They're good. Auto 5s and clones thereof tend to be really good. And no, they're not as modern and tactical, but they work. And a gun that works is really important. There may be others. I haven't shot every shotgun on the market, but I wanted to recommend this one. I wanted to like this one, and I can't recommend it. If what you want is a range toy and you don't mind occasional malfunctions, sure, go for it. But this is not marketed as a range toy, and it's not marketed as a target gun like a 3. You could use it in 3-gun competition, but it's not marketed that way. It's marketed to be a life-saving tool. It's marketed as a tactical gun that will save your life in a gunfight. I would not tend to trust this gun in a gunfight. I am very, very sad that I can't recommend this, and I'm sad that Beretta thinks this is okay. I'm very disappointed. For the most part, I have really liked their products. This one, to me, is a failure. This one's a pass for me. You make up your own mind. Guys, as always, thanks for tuning into the channel. Keep your powder dry. Get some sleep. Don't be sleep deprived. We'll see you next time.